Okay, so we've got some shoe goo dissolving in here with toluene solvent. It's already starting to dissolve without any heat. We've got 20 mils of toluene solvent. We've got 3 grams of shoe goo. Shoe goo is probably SBR, styrene butadiene rubber. It may be like an SBS, which is a different polymer block order, which would have different properties, but it doesn't really matter because we would just do the same thing anyway. I don't think it would affect how I would make a comp out of it. So this is the proportions that I'm using. This is based off of we're going like one less patent point than Simtex 10, which would be 86% patent fill. And then we're just gonna experiment with minimal DOA and then play with it from there. But this will be the starting point. Okay, here's what shoe goo comp looks like when it's all in and getting mixed up. This is with about 20 milliliters of toluene, which is a good sweet spot for most of these 20-gram loads. It'll let you dry it out and mix it up without too much toluene sloshing around and having to dry off, having to wait for it. Now, for the record, this shoe goo comp looks really good to me. Just in terms of random, personal judgment based off these comps that I've done, I like the way this. It's sort of like a mixture of PIB and some of the other ones. I mean, who knows what it's going to end up like, but I like the way it looks. I like the way it mixes, like the way it looks. I like the way the patent mixes in so far. So we'll see if we're rewarded with a comp with good properties, hopefully. Got a lot still in this jar, my goodness. All right, we'll let it dry. Okay, let's look at the, this is shoe glue. Oh, it's firm. A little bit hard to tell what we're dealing with here. If we're dealing with, it appears to be too little binder. Okay, I tried to play with it a little bit. Shoe goo at 13% there's no way. Nothing's gonna be done with that. Okay, so we're doing SBR again. This one is an 85% patent load with a 50-50 mix of DOA and SBR. Essentially, this is trying to copy, I guess this would be like based off of Simtex 10, which is a 86% fill. We're not going to go quite that far yet. We're just going to start off with 85. Trying to get down some binder properties. With SBR, at least with Simtex, from what I can track down, Simtex, which is a long-used product, as opposed to other ratios of plasticizer and polymer, it's a 50-50 split, typically, or approximately that. So we're going to try that. We're going to try 50-50 and see how that works out. Okay, now we got the Gorilla Glue rubber cement. And we're going off the Reddit post where they said they had, what was it? I think it was 15% glue, or 15% rubber, and 1% oil. So we're going to do that. Okay, so we've got the SBR binder, and this has a plasticizer of DOA. And our SBR to DOA ratio is 50-50. And our patent fill on this one is 85%. So this is good to go. So half and half, doing 50-50 on SBR and plasticizer. it works. This one is a little bit, it needs probably a little bit more binder just to make it more of plastic, but it's totally consolidated. So this is, I mean, you could use this, you know, this is no problem. It's a little bit less. It's super shapeable. It's soft. You could densify it. It'd really do well with some density increase. And maybe another point or two of binder. That's about it. It's really good. Really good. So SBR is good to go. See that how it folds over and it's a little bit crumbly? Like that's not good. You don't want that. You want it to be not like that, but that's kind of, I think that's kind of the nature of, I think it's a little bit of the nature of the SBR polymer, copolymer. I mean, that feels good to me. That feels good. Okay, so this is the next morning and our sample's pretty crumbly. So it either needs, you know, I don't know if that's the solvent dissolves the matrix a bit and makes it more plasticized. So I don't know if this means we need more plasticizer or if we just need a higher percentage of binder and plasticizer. So let's see how it's affected by adding some mineral oil. So addition of mineral oil helps to wet it, but it's still crumbly, so I'm going to assume this needs more binder and plasticizer. So just reduce the fill ratio and increase the plasticizer ratio. Okay, so this is the natural rubber from Gorilla Glue brand rubber cement. This takes about as long as PIB to dissolve. It's the longest, that and PIB are the longest of the two out of all tests, all compositions tried so far. This is about dissolved now. It went overnight, and we're going to add in our filler 20 gram Petin. And this one's really thick, so it doesn't come off very well. Gonna need more toluene. All right, we'll call that good. Okay, so natural rubber and Petin. Pretty thick already. Just going in. Gorilla brand rubber cement. All right, pancakes up. Okay, we're now doing a round 2 on the SBR. The ratio, the 50-50 ratio of plasticizer to polymer worked really well. So we're doing it again, but we increased 2 percentage points on the plasticizers, or on the plastic matrix. So there's 2% taken away. We went from 85 to 83% fill and gave those, you know, points respectively to both the plasticizer and the plastic. For dissolving SVR, you can do it in a minimal amount of solvent. When you add the DOA in here, it's like instantly effective. So it begins dissolving seriously, big time, when you add DOA. It has an immediate effect. Then over here we've got our Gorilla Glue rubber cement. It's drying out. I've been kind of poking at it to try to get the solvent out as it dries, and everything looks good. Moving along. Okay, so we got the second comp here of SBR. We're going to add in some Petin. All in on 20 grams. All right, I'm gonna hand mix this and then dump it out to dry. Okay, so this is our SBR comp. This is our Gorilla Rubber Cement comp. It's peeling off, which is good. It's peeling off the plate. Still a little bit, it's still a little bit sticky here. Let it dry out some more. Okay, so first up, we've got the rubber cement, Gorilla brand. Still has to dry a little bit. It's not completely done. And let's check this SBR comp. Now this is how the other SBR comp was. It's really good when it still has a little bit of solvent left in there, and then it would get a bit cracky after the solvent evaporated out. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so here's SBR comp. We got some Petin on my hand. So this is really good before it dries out. It's just such a nice consistency. Smush is good. Everything is good. I mean, you can really roll this out thinly. You can mold it. You can put it in a ball. This is really nice right now. We'll see how it is when it all finally dries and it's finished. But for now, this is really good. I'm going to leave it off heat for a little bit to slow dry. So we'll slow dry it right there, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so now we've got EVA comp. This one is going to be a 7.5% EVA with an equal portion of DOA as the plasticizer. So we're going to charge this with Petin, 20 grams, and see how that works. Okay, so we've got EVA comp coming out. We're going to dry it off. Okay, so we've got EVA comp right there. We've got the Gorilla Glue comp right here. Interesting. Pretty gummy. Rubber comps are some of the first plastic explosive comps that they tried to develop for Britain for World War II. So they're very kind of rudimentary plastic explosive compositions. All right, so we'll let that one keep on drying. Here's your SBR comp. Feels really good. Is it starting to crack? Maybe. It might be starting to crack, but it's less. It's less than the other one. So we're going in the right direction. Feels really good. Feels great. Still got some solvent. I can smell solvent in there. Presses pretty well, getting cracking around the edges. Cracks when it bends now. So its properties are changing as it dries. More like a dough than a plastic now. But still pretty excellent. I mean, this is going somewhere here. I've been playing with this Gorilla Glue comp, and it's pretty nice. It works pretty well. It's got some cracking when you press it out, but it's not much. It looks pretty good. So I really like it. We'll see how it behaves when it dries a little bit more. But it's definitely usable, for sure. EVA with DOA at a 50%. Okay, so this is EVA. We've got EVA, DOA at a 50-50, and this is consolidating. It's a little crackly. Needs to be adjusted, but it's pretty good. Not bad. Cracks on the edges, snaps when you fold it. All right, it's now been 6 hours. Let's check out these comps. The first one, we've got SBR. Got some crumbles. Yeah, too crumbly. So it's not consolidated enough. This is good though. This is better than any of the other SBR tests. Next one we've got, this one is going to be Gorilla Glue brand rubber cement. Okay, this one, very consolidated, dense. This feels pretty good. This feels pretty good. I like this one. I wonder what the long-term longevity is of this, but this is good. Okay, surprising. I thought, you know, a lot of the British formulations, the early ones, are based on rubber, and they got replaced. So I didn't have high hopes for this. This is pretty nice. This is better than SBR so far. We don't have the SBR ratios figured out exactly, so it's still ongoing. Now we got EVA. Okay, EVA, it's holding slightly, but way this is crumblier than the SBR. Okay, so not ready. I'm gonna put that down. EVA and SBR need work. This is pretty good. You could use it like this. All right, so off camera, quick note. I took this totally crumbly EVA comp and I just spritzed it with DEET. I'm using the Benz DEET. You know, this is like your 98% DEET. There's also, you can also get the off-brand. It has a high DEET content. So I just spritzed it. So I'd have to measure, you know, what that mass would be from a spray on that, but it appeared to be, it's less than a gram. And it just entirely changed the character of this comp. So far it had DOA, and we just added a little bit of DEET, and I mean this is like I guess it's like a light clay, but it also made it extremely dense. You know, like this is a very small ball compared to these other ones. You know, this is very small. It feels pretty dense in the hand and handling. So it just looks really good. So I guess the EVA is improved with the DEET addition, but it probably means it needs more plasticizer and binder. We're gonna do the same thing to the SBR and see how it responds. So, you know what? Let's measure. I'm gonna measure what a spritz is. Okay, so one spray off this Benz is about 130 milligrams of DEET, and I probably put about 5 sprays into here. So it's less than a gram. And this is pretty good, you know. So we're going to get somewhere with this EVA comp, which is awesome. EVA has both ethylene, which is non-polar, and then you've got your vinyl acetate, which is polar. So it makes perfect sense that DEET would be effective with an EVA comp. Let's do the same thing to SBR. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to flatten it out so it can accept some of this DEET. It's already crumbly. It's falling apart in my hand. So let's give it 4 spritz. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're just going to fold it up in the hand. I'm losing this all over the place. I'm going to do this off camera. Okay, I've got 4 on there. It made it worse initially. 1, 2, 3. So that's 7. It's starting to pick up a little. Needs more binder. This one's still breaking up, but the DEET is having an effect on it. A positive effect. It's becoming less crumbly. So it's still breaking apart, but it's becoming more malleable. So it needs more binder, and it needs more plasticizer. But more plasticizer for now is improving it from what it already was. Let's give it some more and see what it does. So flatten this out. Getting pretty soft now. Wow. That really changes it. I mean, look at that. I can squeeze it and it's not even, I mean, it's not cracking as much. Wow. Okay, so the SBR, both the SBR and the EVA respond to the DEET pretty well. Now I can fold this over and it's barely cracking. So we might need slight binder and more plasticizer. Not much. That's pretty good. Very interesting. So this also, just like the EVA, this SBR comp has both DOA and now the DEET plasticizer. I don't know if DOA will help with keeping the volatility down in the DEET, which is an issue. Of course, you can stop DEET volatility it evaporating by putting it in a plastic bag, vacuum sealing, etc. Longer term tests would have to be done to determine, how much DEET is evaporating. You would do a weight measurement test. Anyway, very interesting. We'll keep that in mind for the next test. Just to show this, one more time, this is kind of like incredible how much the plasticizer affects this. There's barely any cracking around the edges. Let's see how thinned out we can get this. Let me show you this. This is pretty thin, this is way thinned out. This is looking really good. If this DEET stays in here because of the DOA, this is an excellent comp with the SBR. Really cool. I hope it stays like this. We'll leave it overnight and check it out in the morning. Okay, so let's check these out. It's been 12 hours. First we've got the SBR. This is cracking. Cracking, so that DOA and DEET combination isn't, it's not necessarily helping this comp. Over the long term, we're getting probably some evaporation, getting a little bit of crumbling. It's still okay. This is way beyond any of the prior tests, so it's moving in the right direction, but it's not nailed down yet. Okay, let's check out the Gorilla Glue. This is Gorilla Glue brand rubber cement. It's really stiff. It's breaking a little bit around the edge when you flatten it, but it's not bad. It's very firm. Very firm. It feels like a hard tack. So other than the hardening aspect of it, I think this is probably, it needs a little bit of tweaking, but I'd say this one is pretty good. It might need a little bit of plasticizer to make it a little softer. It's pretty good though. Okay, then we've got the EVA. EVA is cracking now. Snaps when it folds. Or I guess I should put this up so you can see. It snaps when it folds. It presses back in, but then, it's just not very, we're getting crumbles. So improved initially by DEET. After 12 hours, not great. Okay. I see I can put it into a sphere, and then it kind of retains some strength that way. But if I flatten it at all, you just start to get loss of integrity of the matrix, and it starts coming apart. Okay, so that's kind of like a midpoint here. Starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for both EVA and SVR, but still needs some work. See, like that almost looks pretty good. You could almost have me fooled that that's pretty good. It's too cracky. That should mean additional binder. It's actually somewhat soft, so I guess we just alter and play around with the binder and plasticizer a little bit more. It has now been an additional 11 hours. We've got the SBR comp right here. Better do this over the plate. Okay. Yeah, too cracky, but it's holding together a little bit. So it needs more binder. But the main thing, well, I guess main thing is binder because it shouldn't crack at all. And there was a little cracking even when it was wetted with the plasticizer, the deep plasticizer. So it needs some more binder, but the plasticizer was doing most of the work there. So this needs a lot more plasticizer, I would assume. And it probably needs a more effective plasticizer. There's really not a whole lot that are available. DEET is obviously available widely. Dioctyl adipate is probably the most commonly available, typical PBX plasticizer. All right, now we've got our rubber cement comp. This one's Gorilla Glue, and it's very firm now. So this is very, very firm. It's still workable, and it doesn't crack that much, but it's also not holding together that well either. Like, it splits apart. It's not cracking, but it kind of is coming apart like that. So it's hard you can't really like push it into itself very well. It's like kneading a dough that's, already been kneaded a lot and is done. So I think this needs a slight tweak on the oil, just increasing the oil probably, but for a quick and dirty PBX, this is going to be an easy one that's up there with Catchmaster. Catchmaster is definitely preferable, but this is close. I mean, for something that, you can't get Catchmaster in a store typically, but you can get rubber cement in a hardware store. So it's a little more OTC. I'm going to drop a couple of drops of oil on that and see how it improves. That was 10 drops of mineral oil, by the way. Drops aren't exact, but it's close enough to you can measure approximately. Oh yeah, that was a lot of mineral oil. Is this going to soften it up? It's so stiff that you can't even really press it into itself to knead this oil in. I'm trying to fold it and press it. Just really difficult to, yeah. So this needs some tweaking because going back in there with mineral oil is not the easiest task once it firms up. This is just a small sample. If I had a larger sample here trying to use it, in reality, it would be a kind of a nightmare trying to shape or a chore, I guess. I definitely wouldn't want to be doing it out in the field, like on target, like trying to go into your shape. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay though. It is wetting it. It's wetting it, and it's making it a little easier. I think it just needs some. It needs some additional oil in the original comp spec. Okay, so we'll just leave that like that, and we'll move on. Lastly, to EVA. Okay, so yeah, that's crumbly. It's crumbly, so you can't manipulate it, but you can press it and hold it into form. So I would say that it's almost enough binder. It needs more binder, and it definitely needs more plasticizer. So it's an identical case to SBR. So EVA and SBR both are reacting nearly identically to the plasticizer load and respective plastic lids. What are these plastic lids? Let's see. We had the EVA. Let's see, it has 7.5% plastic, and then we went with an 8.5% SBR, and that's a 50-50 split with the plasticizer. So they're very close right now, in terms of compositions. EVA is a little bit more crumbly at the lower plastic fill. So that's less polymer and it's more crumbly. So I think both of these need more polymer binder, and they definitely need a lot more plasticizer. Now, the question really, I guess, since DEET is obviously evaporating, we could put some DEET back on there. It would soften everything up and make it flexible again. And that could be something that you could do with putting this in plastic, so you have something easy to use right away, right? You just get a plastic explosive ready to use. You put it in a plastic bag. Now it's good to go as long as it stays in the plastic for, theoretically indefinite. But I wonder if we could do this with DOA. I wonder if we could make these kind of become a little bit less crumbly with the addition of DOA. So let's add some more DOA and let's just see what the effect is, because these comps are almost like, we're kind of at the point where I didn't want to be, which is making a bunch of comps that are, really close, almost there, but not quite. And then it's like, okay, now you've got a 20-gram load. Like, obviously we know what it's going to do, right? We've already detonated a bunch of, several iterations of these. So they're, all going to be identical in performance. Okay, so we've got some DOA, and we'll just count drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops first. That's what we're going to do. 7 drops DOA on the EVA comp. We're going to fold it. And knead it. And whoa, what is that? That's something off my plate. Oops, I don't know what that's from. The DOA is getting in there. I can feel the difference. Okay, so it's starting to get in there. Let's see if we can make a difference here. Let's do some pressing on it. It's softening it, but it's not yet getting into, becoming, you see how it's still breaking apart, so that's not ideal. With the addition of the DEET, it just instantly went into the actual polymer matrix. And you're getting a softening and a flexibility. Oh, there we go. It's starting to, well, no, crumbly. All right, let's try some more. We'll flatten this out. We'll put some more DOA on there. DOA, dead on arrival. That's what it stands for, I guess. Because it's not, well, I don't want to say that because it works sometimes on some things. And it's the only one that's available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 14 drops now. That's going to be over a gram, I think. I'll measure it later when I'm considering the next phase of these comps and the proportions, considering the proportions that will be logical to use. I will consider that this got 14 drops of DOA. And now it's getting wet on my hands, so. Yeah, it's just coming apart. Definitely need more binder. It's starting to, no, not really. It's improving slightly, but this is just way too soft, which is probably the binder, I would assume. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna call it on that. I'm gonna say this one's good, and I'm just gonna ball this up and then leave it here to check on it a little bit later, and maybe depending on if the properties change, maybe I'll hit it one more time with DEET to just see how different it is or what the effect is. You know, because I could blow this up, but it's like I want to get more data off this as much as I can before I consider going into the next EVA comp, because we really gotta, you know, Doug's excited about EVA. So we're now going on to the SVR, flattening out. We're gonna put some, it's all crumbly. I'm gonna put some DOA in there. We're gonna see if this responds any differently to DOA. 1, 2, oh, I guess I'll do it on the camera. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one's pretty, I didn't realize it was cracking this much. I guess the other one was cracking a lot too. I thought this one was cracking less. It's definitely softening, but it's not binding well. So I think that I would attribute that to binder. I think I would attribute that to binder. And not the plasticizer. You know, that property of the cracking and it breaking apart, I think that's attributed to binder. Yeah, so this one is not improving. Let's just spray this with some DEET. I just want to see if there's an instant difference, just to see it again. 1, 2. Oh, instant. It's just instantly different. Like the entire physical property of this just changes immediately. You can feel it immediately. Probably hard to tell. It looks like not much is different, but you could feel it. It's still cracking when we turn it over here. So this is not ideal. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess at this point, you know, I'll just kind of review everything and give a good long think about what should go into phase 2, which will be the final tweaking of these comps to come up with the recommended ratios. I mean, my lights are just flickering in here. Got some kind of power situation going on. Man, it's just so much. I mean, it's still cracking, but this is just squishy and it's pretty nice. I mean, you could definitely use that. If you put this in a plastic bag, you could use it. Yeah, so it's going to be Catchmaster tweak, the rubber cement tweak, and then we're going to have to do, you know, a couple more tests on SVR and EVA to get those ready to go. Hopefully you got something out of that. This is kind of a collection of video over a couple of days, so I don't have to edit so much. The editing takes a while. And then we'll get ready to move on to the next step.